Do you want to know how I made my Pomni cosplay from Amazing Digital Circus? How I made the pattern of the bodysuit is actually very easy. So I took the measurement of how big I wanted the neckline to be, and then I drew that as a line and took the measurement of my shoulder and did it a bit slanted, and then the measurement of my armpit, and then the measurement of my bust, and then the measurement of my waist, lastly my hips. And then I just drew a curve for the outline of her bodysuit. For the back of the pattern, I made the shoulder come out a bit more and the outline of the cosplay cover the backside a bit. So depending on what fabric you're using, you're going to have to cut it differently. I was using a one-way stretch fabric, so I was having to cut it in line with the stretch. If you're using a two-way stretch fabric, it doesn't matter too much how you're cutting it as long as it's not diagonal to the stretch. Then I sewed the gold ruffles on. I sewed the gold ruffles down the middle of the bodysuits with the seam flat. I also sewed it on the ends of the bodysuit as well. The arms. Basically how I patterned the arms, I took the measurement of the circumference of my armpits, then divided that by how many panels I was going to be doing. You can take like an inch of whatever you get if you're using a stretch fabric because you're going to be wanting it to stretch. And then I took the measurement of my arm for the middle and then divided by how many panels I'm going to be doing, and then same for the bottom. Then I sewed all those panels together, then sewed the gold trim on, and then just sewed it onto the bodysuit, and then we were done with the arms. Onto the shorts. For the shorts, I followed this tutorial from this creator. She helped me a lot to make the pattern, so I would go and follow her tutorial if you're wanting to make the pattern yourself for the shorts. Did the pattern for the shorts, and then I sewed the gold ruffle, and then I just wear it under the bodysuit. The gloves was actually the death of me because it was so hard to do. I don't know why, but gloves are so hard for me. They're supposed to be really simple, but they are not. They are not simple. Oh my god. I basically folded the fabric in half and then traced my hand on it and just sewed that line, sewed the gold ruffles on, and that was it. Now for the hat. Okay, so the hat was very eyeballed. I eyeballed most of it. So for the pattern, I took the measurement of the circumference of my head, then divided that by how many panels I'm using. You can take an inch off that if you're using a stretch fabric. Then I measured how long I wanted it to be, and then I literally drew a gigantic triangle. And that was basically it for the pattern for the hat. And then I sewed on the gold ruffles and the bells, and that was it. And that's all of it. So thank you for watching. I hope you liked the tutorial, and if you have any questions, please don't be afraid to put them in the comments. I'll try and answer all the questions. Thank you for watching, and bye bye!